Bam, and we are live. Okay, just sorry for that momentary pause, guys. Just wanted to make sure that the stream was going to go up without any bugs. So, bam, and we are live. Okay. I just wanted to give a quick breakdown of... Oh, ships incoming. What's up, y'all? I wanted to give a quick breakdown of my play style and the kind of gamer I am in No Man's Sky. I realized I'd got 3 uploads of live streams already, and I never really properly introduced myself. I'm Chimp Sidious. I am in No Man's Sky as a Martian. I have joined the hub, FDI, and that's the Free Delta Initiative. It's a pretty cool hub, and without going into too deep of detail, really supportive players in that community. Everybody is really eager to help each other in whatever ways they can. I have a good, what do you say, we've got, you know, a couple of good billionaires, some people that have lots of units, some people that have lots of farms, some really avid and very, very skilled builders, people that have made some incredible bases, one of which was the Millennium Falcon, featured by your awesome Sean Murray on Twitter. Tomcat, Agent Tomcat built that Millennium Falcon, and he's a pretty active member in the FDI. And oh, hostile scan, come at me. I guess we got a little combat coming in. This is usually a pretty peaceful, low conflict zone. They want my salt, so you want to get salty, bro? We can get salty. I ain't worried about it. I'm about to wreck you. Good day. Oh, yeah, you regretting this decision yet? Oh, hey, you got a ship that looks like mine, but I guarantee you it's not. I'm flying an S-class Wing of a Matsu build ship that I have aptly named Galaga because, well, I mean, it's the ship from Galaga. And so, true to form, I just maxed out my photon cannon because I did not have a way to remove the photon cannon, and I am limited on my space slots, so I just put S-class photon modules on that, and that's basically the build for my ship. I have some broken tech in here and an empty hyperdrive. I'm not really keen on using this thing to travel too much. It's just purely there for merkin bitches. So, back to I play this game pretty openly, and I usually leave these as my settings. I hide, and I allow anyone to join. I am a bit of a troublemaker, so I leave the damage on, so that way we can fight, because inside the FDI we started this civ, the GCB, and that's just a PvP civ that we're building arenas and starting tournaments in and such. So if you guys ever want to see what's going on there, just hit up the FDI on Amino. The Free Delta Initiative is what the Amino is called, and you know, if I had someone in the chat right now, I'd have them drop a link to it, but I'm sure that one of these days someone's going to slide on in and be able to do that for me. But for now, this is the planetary system that I call home. This is Praxia. It's a beautiful system, and it has a lot to offer. Quick rundown of what's inside. Is the planet we're going to go to first. It is a refreshing breeze as far as the weather is concerned, and there is a lot of nice stuff on it. You've got silver, copper, and paraffinium, star bulb, and you'll see that it says there's no fauna, but there is in fact 16 different species. So, oh look, just ahead. Yeah, stay ahead there, mate. You too. And the flora is pretty generous. It's frickin' everywhere, and you'll see in a moment why I named it It's very beautiful, very peaceful. There are 3 anomalous planets. One of them is Thrawn, and this is a fissured planet, and it's also got silver, copper, and gold. The other is Bjorn, and it is a metallic planet. And there is also the sharded planet Tox. Now, the other two planets, Ciolari is one of them, and it says it's blissful weather, and if I recall, it's actually also a rather attractive planet. I think it's a little less pretty than Ohm in my taste, but I mean that's just an opinion. The abundance in flora and the limited fauna, you know, it can kind of vary. It's a desert planet as it looks like, and I love desert planets. Honestly, I don't know what it is about them that always attracts me, but I always find myself building whenever I get to them. So I suppose I really do like spending a pretty good amount of time on them. The Dew, the frozen planet in this system, has frost crystal, cobalt, dioxide, and copper. And this one is a beautiful winter wonderland up top. Underground in the caves, it's a little bit more barren. The caves are nice and spaciously empty. There isn't a whole lot that attracts me to frozen planets. But what got me into this system and made me fall in love with it is there are 3 anomalous planets of different kinds, and there's 3 different planets in it. One with Starbulb, another I think with also Starbulb, and one with Frost Crystal. And so the first thing I decided was this is a good planet to start in. This is a good system to start in general, but this planet is really good to start in. If you want to get a language knocked out, this planet's for it. And so we're going to go ahead and go check out Ohm. Gorgeous, it's very peaceful, and it has a lot to offer for just a mere planet. There's usually a pretty painstaking process to doing things like learning a language in this game, and the knowledge stones are so frequent on this planet that you can actually get a lot of that out of the way. I typically don't really like to limit myself in experiences in this game. I want to try the new things as soon as they come out, and I don't find myself too fond of some of the patches that they've added. I differ from a lot of gamers in the way that I feel about power generation and how now some of my favorite bases are castrated in their glory, and it's definitely a process of coming to terms with the new experience that the game is. But speaking of experiences, if you have VR, this is definitely a place to go if you want to have some really cool experiences in a short distance to be found. So coming into Ohm, you'll notice that there's a beautiful, beautiful pink ozone to it, and that gives it a beautiful pink sky. And so it's more or less an island planet, but the refreshing breeze, I guarantee you, never ends. There is not any kind of storm that ever occurs on Ohm. So if you like to explore beautiful planets with ample amounts of calm weather, this is definitely one to do that on. And so we're going to come on down here. Now, one thing that I've already noticed about this planet is that the oceans aren't always very deep. And as you could see as I came in, the bedrock was already pretty close. So let's go ahead and drop the Nautilon, and we're going to check out the water first, because the water is always pretty... Oh, I can't drop my Nautilon. Well, maybe we won't. The oceans do stay pretty shallow around here, so if you are big on seafaring, there's tons of ocean to be explored. However, it is definitely gonna be limited in its depth. There could be an amount of error to that assumption. I kind of just get caught up in the FTI's home system, Pitstain, and there I've got a couple of things that I've built and put up. I have erected, and there's actually dozens and dozens of bases built by other players in the FDI that are freaking stellar, man. Like, I can't even begin to describe them in any real way. They're awesome. There's a lot of different kinds. I mean, we've got a couple of arenas, we've got some hotels, people have built cafes. There's stuff in that system that just, like, you can't compare it to much else. But, you know, sorry FDI, but that's enough about Pitstain. Let's see what we've got over here to offer us. Now, the one thing I really like about this planet is that it's got so much just kind of peppered about, lots of life. The land formations get kind of funny, but let's see if we can find some critters. First of all, I want to take note that there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of buried technology modules, paraffinium deposits, and somewhere around here is going to be a knowledge stone. Yep, there's one there, and they are not far apart. They're rarely ever really hard to find. There's another one there, and that's kind of this whole entire planet. It's just tons and tons of opportunity. There's some life. See, now these guys really are everywhere, and there's 16 different species, and they all seem to travel in herds like this. So if you want to knock out some of the hunting missions, this is also good for that. The materials, the basic building materials, are so abundant, so abundant. I mean, you can see all the ferrite and carbon opportunity that there is, but there's even dihydrogen and condensed carbon everywhere. I think that the paraffinium being in abundance is a bit useful. There's a lot of opportunity to build some mines. There's starbulb that's all over the place, and one of the planets offers frost crystals, so it's got some potential in what it can offer. Now, the first thing I'd like to point out is that what I spent most of my time doing on this planet was also a bit of a waste of time. I was going to build underground bases that were buried in the dirt, and it was just a dumb idea, as it turned out. After a while, I discovered that I was putting myself in a painstaking process of digging that just didn't prove to be very fun. Oh no. You let me do this. You let me dig. Oh God. There we go. Alright. Come on, Sean. What is this? There we go. And so, what I was doing initially was digging holes deep into these mountains and then digging out my own caves. Hey. Digging out my own caves. Which was a mistake. Oh, come on, you. I also learned to teleport. Like, weep. Now down here somewhere. There it is. Ba-boom. And here is one of the underground bases that I have constructed. Now this was originally buried and I have already dug it out. But this is the first base that I built. Here we are. We've got our science man. He's over here just telling us how it goes. Yo, right back at you, bro. And in here, I've got the weed man's weed man. He's, you know, just doing the thing. Plant guy, what's going on? How's it going? Right back at you, bro. And this was going to be the APE, the APE, the agricultural some whatever blah. So I built this thing in the hopes that it would be worth coming to dig out. And honestly, I decided myself that it wouldn't be worth trying to dig these things up. Like, it's stressful trying to do it. It's kind of cool in a sense. Like, it wasn't really too hard. Maybe I'll make more of them. I don't know. You guys can tell me if you think that it would be worth trying to dig dirt out from inside of this thing, because it's built underground, not in a cave, literally underground. And so over time, the cave collapses and reburies it for people to come and dig it up again, kind of like those temples that are under the surface. And so it's really not much more to it than what you've already seen. But the whole process was only painstaking because every time I wanted to add to it, I had to dig it back out. However, I am pretty satisfied, at least with the way that I designed and decorated it. It did come out, in my opinion, pretty appealing to look at least. It wasn't, it's not boring, you know, there's stuff going on. But that's enough about this little underground base. I also did everyone a favor. This one's possibly easy to find only because the base is next to the computer. Oh, hey Mike. I'd search for an already made cave network chimp. I had the same. I made a moon base and it filled with dirt and stuff. You know, Mike, you're right. I came to that conclusion after I kept on having to do it again and again, and it became quite a headache. You know, like at first I thought it would be fun. It would be like an excavation mission that I can challenge people to, and then it just proved to be a massive headache. But and also it's tough to find. Like, it can be tough to find, which is why I might do a couple more just for shits and giggles, but it's a long shot on whether I actually do. But glad you're here, Mike. Welcome to the Noob Tube, man. So this is Ohm, and I've kind of given the broadcast itself a little bit of a breakdown, but I was explaining that there's a lot that this planet has to offer to new gamers to No Man's Sky. You know, namely speaking, first of all, it's got a lot of life walking around on it. So if you have hunting missions you want to knock out, this kind of planet is perfect for it. It's a calming breeze weather, so there's never any storms. There are also tons of knowledge stones littered about, and so you can knock out learning those the Viking language. This is a Viking system. There's silver and paraffinium and copper on this planet, and lots and lots of flora. So it's a beautiful planet, and it's gorgeous. I certainly really enjoy exploring this planet. The ocean is really gratifying to just have in the background. Most of the planet's made up of islands, and I named it Ohm for the fact that there is never any kind of storm on it whatsoever, and you can just build and build because you're surrounded by ferrite to constantly mine. You don't have to go very far to find any ever, because that's what this is. Has no hazards, no storms, no sentinels, but there's space stations, and it Mike Stockton says the planet I'm currently on has no hazards, no storms, no sentinels, but there's no space station, and it's unmapped when I first discovered it. That is awesome, and that's sort of what this planet's like. It's got like a space station, and it's just behind that planet right there, I think. And there is there's a good amount of there's a good amount of stuff on it, and I just feel like it's really advantageous if you've just started to play No Man's Sky. And I wish that there was a way that I could help people to get to it, but new gamers won't know what to do with coordinates, right? So it's really just going to be a matter of them getting into the FDI, which, by the way, Mike Stockton, if you wouldn't mind dropping a link to the FDI amino, I think that if anybody wanted to. Mike Stockton says there's one other planet with a moon, and that planet says Red Lost Planet. I have not looked there yet, or been there yet to look at it. This one has this system has 3 anomalous planets in it. So it's got the fissured planet here, a sharded planet here, and a metallic planet there. The other 2 planets, one of them is frozen, and it's a wintry with irregular patrols and sentinels, bountiful flora, and frequent fauna. And it is bountiful flora too. Or wait, no, this isn't the. Yeah, this is the frozen dew, and it's kind of like it's weird that that's like a cactus right there, because to me it looks more like a winter wonderland than a desert. Sulari is, I think, if I can't remember exactly what it is, I think this was like a radioactive planet of some kind, but it's blissful weather, and it's also got flora and fauna of some degree. But what's weird is that this Ohm planet is so peaceful, and it says it has no fauna. But there are 16 different species, and they travel around in herds. And so, which I'm wondering if any of those want to pop up. I mean, it's got so much on it that it takes a while for life to pop in sometimes, because it really is quite abundant. Once you spend enough time in one place, they start droving around in herds, and like I've spent a pretty good amount of time just knocking out hunting missions and stuff on this planet before. It's kind of my go-to for if I have animal related quests. Aw, no fuel in my launch thrusters. And so I say we can go and check out what's next in the list. Uh-oh. Don't tell me this is going on right now. Oh, that was close call, guys. I'm glad I waited. Alright. That was a little nerve-wracking. And so there's the space station in this system. It keeps disappearing. Won't let me post the link, and the admin says Mike Stockton. It just keeps disappearing. That's not good. I don't know. I don't think I have any mod settings to disallow links, so I am just not a good enough streamer to know how to fix that. Well, now, oh, I also wanted to show one of the other coolest things about this planet is, and this is rare to me, but when you're on the surface of this planet, you can see the rest of the entire system in its sky if you're on the right side of it. You can even see the moons that belong to that one. You can see one hiding behind it. And Mike Stockton says, it's all good. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Yeah, hopefully so. So you can see both of those moons there that are hiding inside of the rings of that planet, and you can see the other two planets from the surface of this planet. And that's, in my experience, that's pretty rare that you can see an entire system from the surface of one of its planets. Because what it makes for is really, really beautiful skylines that are, you have to look up for it, but it's if this cloud wasn't just killing my buzz right now, oh, hey, no, you can get out of here. Thank you. Lots and lots of spaceships are always flying around on this planet at that, but I just feel like that's not always easy to find, is 5 planets in your view. And oh, see, now life's starting to pop in. Oh, whoa, poisonous flora. These things grow in little packs too, so you can find yourself taking a lot of damage really quick just kind of wandering around and exploring. But see, here we go, we got little babies. There's lots of life on this planet, so if you like to go to something that's lush, this also is pretty great for that. I've been eager to show this planet off for a while because it's so gorgeous. And this whole system, I really love the hues of blue and green. Now let's go ahead and check out Dew, get it out of the way, because there's not much to it. It's just a frozen tundra, but what I do like about it is that, well, that's a weird angle for my boost to just be rendered at. I'm just stuck that way. Oh, you can tell that this game is taxing as I left Ohm, because my ship's texture is all kinds of messed up and the camera's stuck. And so the reason that I don't spend a whole lot of time in this system is because it's actually a really long way from everything else. So like, I think that like, I hate the way that they did the Discovery timeline. I don't know how to find Pit Stain. I want to say that like, let's see, we are in the Sukar region. Like, I don't, does anybody know where that is? I don't. Mike Stockton says, I'm working on making a backdrop story for my Gek character, Boba Gek. Ha ha ha, Boba Gek, that's awesome. You know what? If you want to do some RP in the FDI with me, I'd always be down. I'm going to be going off the grid for about a month here soon, but that has been something Panda and I have gone back and forth about, is ways to get that RP going up and kicking. And my character has a little bit of backstory on the Amino, and I'm basically just one rogue Martian that's separated from civilization and lost, and trying to reinstill a Martian society by using genetic modification and just basically turning other life forms into Martians. So, I mean, that's kind of why if you go in the FDI and you look at my titles, I have the title Invader, because that's part of my RP. And so I guess if you're probably going to be a Boba Gek. Is he a mercenary? What have you worked out so far with that? Are you just a mercenary, like hunting pirates. Let's see. What is this? Ooh. Ooh. Alright, now we'll go ahead and land. Now this is basically one of the least exciting biomes to me, the tundras. I don't know why, but they never seem to have a whole lot to offer in my opinion. They're just not fun. Oh, I need creature pellets for you, buddy. Sorry. And it's a beautiful planet. It has some really nice looking flora on it for a tundra, you know. I think these are kind of a tropical looking plant to be on a frozen planet, but I guess that also looks in a bit like a cedar pine. But Mike Stockton says mine will be a bit different. People know that Geks can be untrustworthy and can be seen as cruel life forms. And the rest of your chat comment hasn't come up to where I can read it yet. I'll give it a second to load. The chat seems to be having a hard time on YouTube right now, so but as for this system, I think that if anybody's got VR, this is definitely a good system to try to drop in, because there is just a lot that it could have to offer for getting a quick VR experience that was worth your while. You've got 3 different anomalous planets that would be definitely fun to walk around on. Oh no, I'm out of fuel. And you've got, you know, the 3 most gorgeous kinds at that, in my opinion: the metallic one, the fissured planet, and the sharded planet. The sharded planet being my favorite, just because it's got all those broken screens everywhere. It simply won't let me. There it is. We got the Blackbird fighter already. Mike Stockton says he will become bounty hunter, and I've got the Blackbird fighter set up and ready, but I have to make some firepower out so I have room for cargo and stuff. Oh, okay. I see. So you're basically trying to deck him out with a decent bounty hunting ship. I feel like firepower would be key for a bounty hunter, but I guess you're also going to need room for cargo, I guess, because you need somewhere to stick all those dirty, rotten scoundrels you pick up. There are so many fishers on this planet. Oh my god. See, I want to build a couple of decent bases in this system so I can make this where I roleplay out of myself, because I want to build more for my own Martian. Like right now, all I've really got is he's got a decent fighter and Yeah, I don't have what I need to fix that right now. He's got a decent fighter, and we also have our trusty... why can't I warp my freighter here? Our trusty mothership, which I felt like it was really fitting to have a Sentinel freighter for a Martian regime, and I found one that I really liked, and I can't warp it here. Oh, you know what? It's because it's at Ohm right now. Yeah, my freighter is there. We go. Boom. Solid black, just like all the things I build. $3,000 for Mike Stockton says so far the potential firepower is over 2,000 to 3,000 for damage. Shields are 2.6 and light years are quite good too. I'm working on streaming as well. Well, yeah, I'm still learning how to stream. I'm still new to this, but I don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing, so I kind of just get on and wing it and stream what I've got to offer. I haven't done any good base tours or anything like yet of the things that I've built, except for I've given most of my streams seem to be based around how I do what I do, like tutorials for building and like, you know, maybe a goofy thing here or there of me and my buddies. Like there's a lot that I still have to learn on how to do this stuff and how to do it right, you know, like but that's one thing I like about the FDI is that we're really good about helping each other get better at stuff. So luckily we have that as a soundboard for practice and for delivery. Now where is the next planet? Let's go to Bjorn. So that was Tox, I believe, the fissured planet, or was that Thrawn? That was Thrawn. Thrawn was going to be the Martian home planet, and I've got to build we should try to get a lobby full of players within FDI and work a stream together. Mike Stockton says we should try and get a lobby full of players within the FDI and stream together. You know what? That would be pretty cool. Like, we could do some kind of a role-playing stream where we could just have an actual dialogue and like storyline built out, you know, amongst the stream, and you could get like a sort of a reference video for things like that. That would be really cool because the RP in chat is good. It's good for like having actual black and white dialogue, but I think a stream would also be a really neat way to make it kind of a three-dimensional role-playing experience. So let's go to Sulari first, because I forget what this planet even is. And so that was Du and Ohm, the two planets that are lonely and kind of out by themselves. This is going to be the moon of, what is that planet? This is a moon of Bjorn. No, that was Thrawn we just left. So that was Du, Ohm, Thrawn, and now we're going to check out Bjorn's two moons. The moons. You look at the moons. What is this? Whoa. Oh, hello. Well, hello. Whoa, that was a sudden pop in of a big forest. Okay. So Tox is definitely heavy in the forest. Like, wow. Wow. This is a very dense forest. And I could get lost in this thing easily. What does this place look like during the daylight? The sun. Oh, gorgeous. Wow. It's like the polar opposite of Ohm. Oh, the floor is all red. That's crazy. The bleeding trees. Trees of blood. Like... There is blood coming from the tree. The willow does not weep, it only will bleed. Mike Stockton says, I'm itching to play No Man's Sky right now, but the wife is due home and the kids are running wild. I think if I stream, it'll turn into a comedy show. Yeah, that sounds like a sitcom waiting. I can already picture it. Just... Oh. Mike says, the last time I streamed, my wife came home from a night out drunk. Well, I mean, yeah, that sounds something like an episode of That 70s Show. I'll definitely say for sure. Which, That 70s Show is an amazing show, by the way. I love that show. I think that's probably one of the best sitcoms ever made. Like, I league that show up there with Friends. Now we will go to Bjorn. Bjorn. The planet of robots. Broke. And so... And we all know what these anomalous planets look like, but... The fact that I found a system with 3 different kinds in it, and 2 blissful planets that never have storms, that have so much flora and fauna to offer. It's all here, and it's just, in my opinion, a rare thing to have that much going on in one single system. You know, like it's what made me decide to use was the fact that there was just so much irregular stuff already present. What's that? Is that dew? I think that's... Yeah, that's dew. And so now we gotta go around to the other side. We're gonna check out the sharded planet. The planet that was broken. Mike Stockton says, I need to grind out the community missions once they've started back up. Man, oh gosh, don't even get me started on quests. I have like got so many that are just like, oh, whoa. Yeah, so many that I've just done nothing with. Like, I'm just like, oh hey, a quest. Oh hey, a quest. Oh hey, a quest. Oh hey, a quest. And then I never finish them. I'm just like, cool, I'll just put them in there and one day they'll just happen to be completed. Ah, is that it? Cox. I think that's the one I just came from. I don't remember. This should be the sharded planet. And it looks like it is. Ba-boom. Oh, that's right. They're shattered and sharded. They're both a type. Ah. And so, in just one system, you know, like so many interesting planets, which the only one that I wish that was here that isn't is a monochrome planet. That would have been really, really dope if there was a monochrome planet in this system, but it's okay without it because I have 3 anomalous planets in one system, 2 planets without any kinds of storms whatsoever that offer very different color palettes to build on, and also a frozen planet that is, you know, just at least if I wanted to go somewhere that was that different, I mean, I have even that color palette to build on, and it's cold, so if you want to freeze your ass off, you can. I don't really care for the ones with the firestorms. I don't know why, but I found myself spending a lot of time on planets I didn't care for, and I spent tons of time on firestorm planets, and it became painstakingly old. Burning to death all the time, you know? Mike Stockton says, I want all the Quicksilvers so I can get all the cool stuff. It's kind of a shame we can share units and nanites and Quicksilver amongst each other. Yeah, we can't share it, I don't think. Like, we can... Like, I can give you something you can sell for units, but, I feel like they're... I'm glad though that there's not any way to access that stuff easily. Well, I mean, it's easy to access. I shouldn't say it's not. There's not a way. It's easy to access, but it's not like you can pay for it. Is what I mean to say. You can't just be like Daddy Warbucks in real life and then boom, you're done. Don't have to worry about much more. One thing I'm getting frustrated with in my experience is that it's becoming harder and harder and harder for me to find assault frigates. I never find assault frigates. Like, I don't get it. I find plenty of what? Look at this. This guy's probably lame. See, like, I don't want to support specialists. What I want is more assault frigates, because there's nothing like having a fleet that can fight for you. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like paramount to be able to do a thing like that. So let's go back to Ohm, and we can do a quick photo op, because that planet is just gorgeous and I don't get tired of it. Woo-wee. And we're just gonna let that take its course. Yeah, I feel like Mike Stockton, I feel like I should have a lot more at my own disposal, but I just don't take advantage of what there is to be done. I mean, like, for some reason I've really slacked off. Oh, I need to get rid of that deflector shield and put my my S-Class modules there. I stacked all wrong. I didn't know I could get rid of that guy. I gotta rebuild this ship. Because it's not at top notch. It's kind of sloppy. I tried my best, but I think that there's some things that are kind of fixed in place. Like, I don't know if I can actually... Yeah, I can't get rid of that, and I can't replace this, and so I think if I had to put these here, that it would have been better off, because then it would still be... I don't know if that's adjacent or not, but I could have rebuilt this in a better way. They kind of screwed me in the slots, but, I mean, hey, it was an S-Class ship right off the bat. Like, that was... I couldn't pass that kind of thing up. Oh, Mike Stockton saying, I'm sorry, I've got to go for now, but I'll try to get back later. Not a problem. I'm probably going to bring this stream to an end here in a second. It was just supposed to be a quick little tour of this system to show off what this system has to offer, and I'm probably going to be getting off the stream myself. Thank you so much for joining me, Mike. I appreciate it. Alright, so let's go over some quick pointers on the photos. So first of all, once you open camera mode, there is... Let's get everything to render in. There you go. Popped in place. We got the grass. So, one thing that I know is really easy to use, but there's some ways to maximize what you get out of it. When you're doing photos and taking screenshots, the first thing that I think makes the biggest difference is choose a gesture to have your guy do. I like things that are permanent, like the sit, because it's easier to take lots of photos. And if you want to stand when you do it, notice that usually your character model's head will turn with your camera. And so if I were to stand here at the front of my ship and look to the right and then open the camera mode, I can get him to look to the side. I can get him to look wherever I really want. You know, I think I can I don't know if I can get him to look up. Sort of. He sort of looks up. And then what about down? Yep, you can even kind of get him to look down. And so that's one thing that kind of helps. I sat down to contemplate life. Chimp sits to contemplate life. The other things that I know can help significantly is whenever you're going to take a photo, giving it slight angles can kind of give it a sci-fi, I call them sci-fi angles, but it kind of gives it a little bit of an edge. It's not always necessary, but there are certain things like that that can really change the outcome of a photo. And that, along with just be sure to try and catch composition. And when I say catch composition, what I mean by that is look at the distribution of angles and how, like, if I focus on the nose of my ship rather than the whole ship itself, you pick a focal point and you want to look at angles in the image itself. So here, for instance, let's say this. So the ship itself, to get it all the way into frame, and the ship that's flying behind it. Now that is a case where I can use that angle and keep it in line with my ship. And as long as I keep it parallel with my ship, instead of doing something like that and getting it more off put, if I make it parallel with my ship, this is just a little art school, then it comes to a linear focal point, just like that. See, they kind of both are pointing in one direction. Like I can almost use my ship's, the corner of the nose, to point at the ship that's in the sky, bringing your attention to the fact that that ship is right there. You can see my character model down below it. This is what I refer to as composition. It can help to use methods and techniques like this when you're taking photos. So, for instance, we'll come here into this base and we'll talk a little bit more in detail on what that composition really means. I wish that I had a way to, like, I guess I kind of do, don't I? Hold on. So, hold on. I have a way to point. I forget. I can go into this menu. One second, sorry, I'm talking ahead of myself. So, we'll use the lines inside of this room. Alright. Now, when I go into photo mode, come here. Now, composition. Notice how I have my character model a little bit off to the side. He's standing, and see how the line of this pole and the line of that pole, along with the line of my character's silhouette, complement each other. Now, since they're parallel lines, if I rotate the camera, they won't change too much. But as I move around like that right there, it's a similar thing. But notice the distance between them is equal now. It makes my character more of the focus. This one kind of puts the focus into the back of the room. And it's not just about the side or being at the center of the screen, because I can get the same effect by putting my character model here. The depth of the room is still in this direction, allowing some of your attention to be drawn over the shoulder of my character model. There's a key to that. Now, even though this is a photo of my character model, your attention is kind of drawn to what's over his shoulder, and the focal point will always in these settings be driven to the center of the room. There's so much going on in this room that the center of the screen, I should say, sorry, it'll be drawn to the center of the screen. So these lines on the wall, the lines on the floor, the lines on this wall, they all kind of point in one direction, allowing your eyes to naturally want to flow into this doorway. And so architecture is a good tool for basing your images off of a focal point. You know, as long as I move around really quickly, you can't really notice it, but as soon as I sit still, all the lines start to draw you back there. And that's commonly used in art as a technique for focal points. But that's one thing that can make a big difference when you're taking screenshots. And so let's go ahead and take a shot of this. Actually, you know what? Screw that. Let's go to my base in here.
Ah, the wee little hole is not big enough for me to fit.
Composition there is a thing called having an eye for photography, and that is something you can learn. That's not something that you just have to be born with, but it takes knowing what focal points mean. And so, like here, in this case, the focal point would be, even if I set it off to the side like that, in this case, the natural focal point of the actual image itself is actually going to be right here. That's going to be the natural focal point, and that's because of the geographic line that is forming here and the geographic line that is forming here, and it's going to draw your eyes naturally to this area. If I do that, the focal point now is going to be here. This line points to it. There's a small line that forms here. My character model is still on the screen, but the natural focal point in the image is this. Technically, even this. And that's just because of the natural lines. So there's an aspect to that is able to be observed, and you know, art school helped me to know how to use that in painting, and I use those same techniques in my photography for the game itself. But now that we've expressed a little bit about that, whoa, we're gonna go ahead and fall down this giant hole. Things are popping in. Let's do it right here. All right, let's try this. So, composition. To compose. And like I said before, I think that using emotes is a excellent way to help add to the composition. It helps significantly in the sense of being able to give a little bit of life to, and if you're going to allow your character to stand still, and that's what you want, then in that case I would suggest not squaring him off with his back directly to the camera, or with his chest directly to the camera, and preferably turn his head. Turn your character model's head, and it will significantly affect how much attitude, if you will, is present in the image itself. So that way you have that kind of a emotion, if you will. You can also jest his head upward, and if you jest his head upward, without making your character model disappear, suggest his head upward, and what you're going to end up with is a bit more of a prideful, oh come on, look up, a bit more of a prideful attitude. There you go. To the screenshot, see? And then if you suggest his head downward, you will get, look down, look at the floor. Like, you'll get a little bit more of a contemplative or maybe even sullen kind of feeling. And so this is the sort of stuff that, believe it or not, it makes a big impact in photography, and it can make a massive difference. You know, modeling your character is how you get more out of your images. And so if you like to take photography and use your character model in photography, I would suggest that these kind of methods are used. My guy's eyes all squinty like that. Looks like he's like degrading this guy.
I belittle you, you robot man. Why is there no power in this facility? What have you done? Give me power. Explain this to me. Explain this to me now.
And so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna come into this room. That's weird that I can't cross the room now. Yeah. That's very strange. Well, guys, if you stuck around this long to get a quick tutorial for how to utilize your photography, I hope that maybe that helps you get more out of it, a little more bang for your buck, because that wasn't really intended, but I kind of decided there at the end to give you guys a couple of tips and pointers. Is there anything else that, because I think that even when you're sitting, I think you can still, no, but just the tilt of a head can really make a big impact on what kind of, because like if I face him to the side, for instance, if I have him facing here and I ask him to look that way, down the hallway, attitude, it's different. You feel me? You feel me? Give it a little tilt. You got me? Alright, now come down to where the lines come from all the corners. There you go. That way what I have is lines coming from this corner, I have lines coming from this corner, lines coming from that corner, and lines coming from this corner. And what that gives me is ultimately more composition to the photo. You understand? So it composes the photo into a direction, into an attitude. I have effectively modeled my character. I've tilted his head to give him a focal point. He's looking the camera dead in the face, but his shoulders aren't squared to the camera, and I'm using the architectural lines to try and implement a designed appearance, leading to a decent little thumbnail for my video tonight. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this tour of Praxia. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but that's going to call it for the Noob Tube. We are tubing out of here, and I appreciate anybody that stopped in to watch this video to check out me rambling on about this really boring and empty system of various interesting planets. You guys take it easy. I'm going to chew out my robot here for a little bit longer on why there's no frickin' power in my base.